Hey everyone, I'm Xenofex, and today I want to cover a pretty large topic, movement points. Let's start with on-screen information. If I hover my mouse over this hero on adventure map, the game shows info that this hero has 1440 movement points out of 1560. The same info is shown if I hover my mouse over her picture here. Now I will target this ore and press and hold Alt key. And we can see that wave will cost 420 movement points, 1020 movement points will remain. And while still holding Alt key, if we press and hold right mouse button, this info box also appears. If I click on this ore, hero travel path is revealed. Now I will change hero's destination target to this mystical garden. Let's take a closer look on this travel path. Green arrows mean that this path is currently within hero's range. Light brown arrows indicate hero's range if hero had full movement points, and dark brown arrows show that even if the hero had full movement points, he would not be able to travel there today. If we take a closer look at this horse icon here, we can see a small number 2. And here it disappears, and here it changes to 3. It means that these spots are currently within 3 days range. These spots are currently within 2 days range, and when it disappears, it's currently within 1 day's range. Keep in mind that game makes all these calculations based on fixed numbers, if nothing were to change, but actually there are 3 factors that can change and improve the path. This wood here, these gems here, and this rally flag. If you would take this wood, visit this rally flag, take these gems, hero would reach Mystical Garden faster. So let's move to the next part of this video, precise movement calculation. Overall, there are 4 types of movements: no penalty, penalty, road, and exception to the rules. Exception to the rules are tricky, and I will talk about them in the end of this video. So let's start with roads. There are 3 types of roads: dirt road, gravel road, and cobblestone road, where dirt road is the slowest and cobblestone road is the fastest. Dirt road sideways step costs 75 and diagonally 106. Gravel 65 and 91. And for cobblestone 50 and 70. Sounds easy, but there are a few extra things you must know. For example, what would happen if this hero would cross this road like that? Will this hero receive road type movement on this spot? The answer is no, because road type movement calculates only if you move from road to road. There are 4 steps: off-road, road, off-road, off-road. So there are no road to road moves. So everything will be calculated as off-road. Next thing you want to know is how flying works in combination with roads. In this example, there is a pile of gold blocking our way. We could take it, but it would cost us extra 50 movement points. So there is a faster way. If you cast fly and fly over it, then in this example, the game will calculate all these 4 steps as cobblestone road steps. So the conclusion is flying on road drains same amount of movement points as running on road. And it doesn't matter if you have angel wings, expert air magic, or no air magic at all. Next thing, entering and leaving town which is connected with road is calculated as road to road movement. So in this case, entering and leaving this town sideways would cost us 50 and diagonally 70. You can take objects using road type movement, but only if object is on the road and hero during taking this object is also on the road. Same rules apply for connecting heroes. So if you take this sulfur, last step will be off-road. When you attack monsters, it doesn't matter if they stand directly on the road or next to road. In both of these examples, it will be calculated as road-to-road movement, because this last step happens from road to road. One more thing I would like to add: in Shadow of Death, visitable objects, like this Tree of Knowledge here, could be generated directly on the road, and you could visit them using road-to-road movement, but in Horn of the Abyss, they no longer generate on the road, so you don't have to worry about that. Now you must learn which squares actually count as road, and which do not. When the road moves vertically, it's pretty easy to tell, because the road is in the center of the squares. But when it moves horizontally, you must remember that upper squares count as road, and lower squares do not. When the road twists and turns, or moves diagonally, the same logic is applied. Upper squares count as road, and the lower squares do not. In this road example here, this square, and this square do not count as road. So in this example, all these lower squares are not counted as road. But in these 4 squares, where even the road is barely visible, they count as road because they are upper squares, not lower squares. Can you tell which squares are road and which are not? Let me show you one last time. This square, here, here, all these lower squares, here and here, do not count as road because they are lower squares. Got it? Now, let's move on to no penalty type movement. Grass, dirt, lava, highlands, and subterranean are all no penalty type of movement zones. It means that in all these zones, a sideways step will cost you 100, and diagonally will cost you 141. Look at this example. Can you tell how much movement points will cost this way? This first step diagonally will cost 70. These 4 steps on the road will cost 50 each. This sideways step will cost 100, because it is not road to road, it's road to off-road. Remember the rule? So this will be 100. And all these steps diagonally will cost 141 each, which in sum give us 1075, right? Right. Taking items, connecting heroes, visiting objects, everything will cost exactly the same as moving hero to that square. So taking this ore would cost 100, and visiting this object would cost 141, all standard. Now let's talk about penalty type movement. Rough terrain have 25% penalty, so sideways step will cost 125 and diagonally 176. Snow is 50%, so sideways 150 and diagonally 212. Desert is also 50% penalty, so the numbers are the same. Swamp has the highest penalty, 75%, so sideways step will cost 175 and diagonally 247. There are several ways how to lessen penalty or eliminate it completely. The first way is native troops. Rough is native terrain for stronghold, and if your army consists only of stronghold troops, and it doesn't matter what hero you are using, then no penalty will be applied. The same logic applies for snow and tower troops. For swamp there are 2 towns, fortress and cove. Desert is a little bit tricky. There is no town where its native terrain is sand, but if you have at least 1 nomad, the penalty is eliminated. And in this case, it doesn't even matter what the rest of your troops are. Next way how to counter penalty is secondary skill, pathfinding. Basic pathfinding eliminates penalty completely on rough terrain. Snow and sand becomes a 25% penalty zone, and swamp becomes a 50% penalty zone. Advanced pathfinding also completely eliminates penalty on snow and sand, and swamp becomes a 25% penalty zone. Expert pathfinding eliminates penalty on all terrains. Next way is artifact Wayfarer boots. This artifact completely eliminates penalty on all terrains. And finally the last way, flying. Flying is a little bit more tricky, but nothing too hard to understand. Flying have its own penalty system. No penalty, 20% penalty, and 40% penalty. No penalty flying will be applied if the hero have equipped artifact Angel's Wings, or if the hero have casted spell Fly with expert air magic. 20% fly penalty with advanced air magic, and 40% penalty with no air magic or with basic air magic. But how exactly a flying penalty works? Well, remember, the game will always choose the lowest penalty. In this example, Highlands it's a no penalty zone, and Greenland doesn't know any air magic, so let's cast a 40% penalty fly, and we can see that these 5 steps will cost 500, so no penalty. But what about flying over objects? 4 steps, 480, 4 steps, 400. Why? All you have to learn here is the meaning of unavailable square. In this example, all these 4 squares are available. Yes, this square is blocked by ore, but you can take it and land a hero here. In this example, these 2 squares are available, but these 2 are not. So the game cannot choose the lowest penalty here in these 2 squares. It will always choose the fly penalty, and in this case it's 40% penalty fly. That's why the sum of these 4 steps is 480. Let's move to next thing. Why does this hero has 1700 movement points? And this hero 1560. And this hero 1500. The answer is because hero's base movement points are directly correlated with the slowest creature in its army. When you create a new game or end turn, the game engine makes a snapshot of the slowest creature in your hero's army. Gogs are speed 4, so this hero has 1560 movement points. Walking Dead are speed 3, that's why here we have 1500. And Imps are speed 5, but in this case speed 6, because they receive +1 speed from hero specialty, so the hero movement points are 1700. And remember, this trick does not work with speed artifacts, they only increase combat speed for your creatures. Therefore, when you play for example with Tower, it is smart to give each secondary hero 1 gargoyle. They completely avoid snow penalty, and they become speed 6 heroes. Hero can lose all troops if he is defeated in battle or dismissed. If that happens, he goes to special pool of heroes, where the base speed is 2000, because there are no creatures in his army to slow him down. So if you are lucky to buy that hero later in the game, you will notice the speed difference. The only exception is if the hero comes with full army at the first day of the week. Look at this example. I am dismissing and buying a bunch of heroes, and finally comes a previously dismissed hero, and his base movement points are 2000. And like I said, if I would wait till next week and this hero came with full army, this trick would not work. Let's look at this example. Here I buy ETHEREUM, a wizard with 1 gremlin. She has 1500 movement points out of 1560. But gremlins are speed 4. Why does she have 1500 movement points? That is because in this case, Game Engine doesn't see ETHEREUM as wizard with 1 gremlin. Game Engine sees ETHEREUM as wizard with default army, and the slowest creature is stone golems, speed 3. Therefore 1500 movement points. Let's quickly cover secondary skill logistics. It's pretty simple. It increases only hero base movement speed, and that's it. It will not increase bonus from artifacts or visitable objects that give movement speed. That's why we have 3500 movement points. 2000 by 30% plus fixed values. Okay, now let's move to final category, exception to the rules. Last step. Hero have only 100 movement points. He is on no penalty zone, but he is still able to make move diagonally. Here is 25% penalty zone, 125 movement points left, and still we can make last step diagonally. 50% penalty, 164 movement points left, and again we can make last step diagonally. 75% penalty, 178 movement points left, and again one last step diagonally. Did you catch the logic here? In all these cases it was last step, and we paid full price for sideways step, but made move diagonally. This trick will also work with pathfinding and with nomad, but it will not work with fly and with native troops. Here our hero have expert pathfinding. 100 movement points left, and still we can make last step diagonally. In this example we are on snow, a 50% penalty zone, but our hero have basic pathfinding, which means sideways step will cost 125, and it's our last step, and we can make it diagonally. So it works with pathfinding. And like I said, this trick also works with nomad. We're in desert, no pathfinding, but we have nomad. 100 movement points left, and we can make one last step diagonally. And as previously mentioned, it does not work with native troops. Here we have Brawn, native swamp troops, 100 movement points left, can make a sideways step, but we cannot make last step diagonally. And it does not work with fly. Here we are on snow, 50% penalty zone, 100 movement points left, we have angel wings which equals to expert fly, and we cannot make one last step diagonally because we have only 100 movement points, and we need at least 150 to make this last step diagonally. What about roads? In this case we have 50 movement points left, still able to make sideways step, but we cannot make last step diagonally. Also, I would like to add that there are very tricky moments in game when special conditions arise. Like for example, a sideways step here will cost 50 and a step diagonally will cost 50 also. But I will not explain them in this video, these situations happen very rarely and it will take too much time. One last comment about Dimension Door. Dimension Door costs 300 movement points, or if your hero have expert air magic, then 200. But that's not entirely true. As long as your hero have some movement points left, you will be able to cast it. Hero have only 60 movement points left, but he can still cast Dimension Door. Just remember, if you want to cast Dimension Door and you're off-road, leave at least 100 movement points. Look at this example. We have 177 movement points, and game tells us that 77 will remain, but that is not true. If we go here, 0. And it doesn't matter on which terrain you are. Here we have a hero on swamp, no pathfinding, no native troops. If we make this step diagonally, 104 movement points will remain. We can't move our hero because of terrain penalty, but we can cast Dimension Door because we left at least 100 movement points. If you're on road, leave movement points for at least one sideways step, in this case 50. If you liked this video, please subscribe to my channel and follow me on Twitch for live streams. You can also support me with donations. The links are in the description of this video. Thanks for watching and see you next time.